Welcome to Westview's College Series on Letter of Recommendation. In this presentation, we're going to cover who needs a letter of recommendation, or often referred to as LOR. We're going to talk about early application opportunities, who should write your letter of recommendation, what do you need, where to find the documents. We're also going to explore teacher, counselor, and alternative recommenders, and go through the technical side of matching common application with your Family Connection Naviance account, as well as how to order your transcript and gain a school report. Not every senior will need a letter of recommendation, so let's explore who will. It's those applying to common application schools, those that are National Merit semifinalists, and students who are applying for scholarships. It's important to note that even though many schools are on the common application, not all of their requirements are the same. You want to check the Common App online to determine who they want a letter of rec from. Also, with scholarship, check the specifications and rules for each scholarship. Again, not all of them need letters of recommendation. So you're thinking of applying early. Let's talk about some of those options. There's a regular early action where you can apply to as many colleges as you like for an early decision. There's also a single choice early action where you may only apply to one school for early action. So now let's talk about early decision. I'm going to say right now, I want you to think long and hard before you do an early decision binding agreement with a college, because this puts you in the worst financial position that you could probably push yourself into. And let me explain why. Because you have to resend all of your other applications, you are committed to this one school, and they do not need to push any money towards your way to convince you to come to that school. So again, think long and hard when you do a binding agreement with an early decision. Okay, let's talk about who should write your letter of recommendation. You really want the recommender to be able to speak about your personality, your core strengths, your abilities intellectually, your leadership skills, communication skills, about your character, your integrity, your creativity, what volunteering or social impact you have, your personality, and what information that they will not find elsewhere in your application. And most importantly, what campuses want to know is how you will contribute to their campus. Alright, so let's explore who you need a letter of recommendation from. Most definitely teachers. Absolutely teachers. But although many schools are on the common application, not all of them are looking for the same thing. So it's very important to check for the specific schools you're applying to. Typically, it's 2 teacher letter of recommendations, but again, each school is different. And then from there, you can gain a counselor or an alternative recommendation. The counseling staff is here to support you, but also if you're involved in a program, it's absolutely all right to gain an alternative letter. So let's head over to the technical side. Family Connection is your portal for all of things. And most importantly, let's start with the document library. In the document library, you'll see several folders that will pertain to you. The letter of rec under counselor, teacher, and alternative, as well as the college application 2014-15. The college application folder of 2014-15 will have all sorts of resources for you as you sit down to fill out your application. Now, if you're going to gain a letter of recommendation from the counselor, you need to go to that folder and fill out the letter of rec packet. There's also the transcript request. The letter of rec folder for the teacher has the permission to release school records. And then the alternative folder is the notification to the counselor if you're gaining an alternative letter. It's important to know that every school employee that writes a letter for you needs a permission to release records. And you will want to waive your rights so we can provide anecdotal information about you. Otherwise, if you decline and do not waive your rights, the only thing we can release about you is factual data such as your GPA, attendance, test scores, etc. A copy of this will again need to go to each teacher and your counselor. So, teacher letter of recommendations. It's important to not enter the teacher or counselor name until you have spoken with them in person. Okay? But once you do, you're going to put it in Naviance under the colleges I'm applying to, teacher recommendations. You need to enter their name after you speak with them. I can't emphasize this enough. But from there, once you put them in, that's where they're going to upload their recommendations. The teacher of letter recommendation forms can be found in the document library under teacher recommendation folder. You need to print that permission to release and then provide your teacher with a resume or a copy of your student profile. But make sure they have what they need after you speak with them. Put it into Family Connections and then determine if the teacher does electronic submission or mail. If they do mail, you will need to provide them a self-addressed stamped envelope, meaning an envelope addressed to the school you want their letter to be sent to. And most importantly, please follow up with a thank you. Now moving on to counselor letter of recommendation. The counselor is going to need a cover sheet, the student profile, parent profile, again a permission to release, and then if you're having an alternative recommender, provide that notification. So this is an example of the cover sheet where you attach all of the other things behind this cover sheet, and on the cover sheet you're going to list all of the colleges you're applying to, and this will go into your letter of rec packet that you turn into the counselor. Continuing on with what the counselor needs to write your letter is the student profile. It's very important that you take time and really answer these questions thoroughly so we can share information about you that can emphasize why you are a good fit for that college. This will go into your letter of recommendation packet that goes to the counselor. Now on the flip side, we also need a parent profile. We want your parents to share with us some of those characteristics that have been with you since probably birth, and give us some things that we don't get to see here at school. Again, this will go into your letter of rec packet that goes to the counselor. Everybody wants and needs a school release of school information. I highly encourage you to waive your rights so that we can give anecdotal information about you. This letter of recommendation checklist is just for your information. It does not go in the packet that you turn into your counselor. Now let's talk about alternative recommenders. So you're highly involved in something, have had an internship or a job, and have a relationship with somebody that you feel would write you a great recommendation. Alright, let's do it. So what you'll need to do is print the permission to release school information as well as the alternative recommender notification, both found in the library, document library under alternative recommendation folders. Print both of these, sign them, and give them to your counselor. Your counselor will still do the school report. Also, there are two ways to upload the evaluation from your alternative recommender. The first way is to complete the information on Common App, giving the recommender's email address, who's going to be writing the letter. That person will create a Common App account to upload the letter using their logon credentials. The second way is to ask the recommender to send the letter directly to your counselor so the counselor can upload with the school report. The counselor will still prepare the secondary school report and attach the school profile. Let's take a look at these two forms. Here's the notification that you're having an alternative recommender write your letter. This will go in your LOR packet that you turn into your counselor. And again, the counselor will still complete the school report. So, technically, here we go. Let's match your Common App to your Family Connections. The first thing you're going to do is create a Common App and sign the California FERPA waiver authorizing the release of information. Then you're going to go to your Naviance account and put in the same Common App email address used to create your Common App. It's very important to note that once you match accounts, your FERPA status can no longer be changed and you cannot unmatch your account. So when you sign your FERPA waiver, you want to go ahead and waive your rights. Common App Online. Step 2, FERPA waiver. Use the email address used to create your Common App account. And you can't change it. From there, you're going to add the college, go to the Assigned Recommender section, and complete. So, all transcripts are sent directly to the college and university. So you need to request a transcript. You can find the request form in the document library in Family Connections. Go ahead and use only one form for all schools. Just list schools with mailing address and deadline on the back. Indicate whether you're applying Common App or other online app. We're finding a lot more colleges are sending out free applications, so just indicate if you applied that way versus Common App. You'll need to pay $5 for each transcript to be sent at the finance office and take the paid form to the registrar's office who's in the Wolverine Center. It is important to know that SAT and ACT scores are on transcripts. If you do not want your testing scores listed, you will need to indicate "Please remove testing scores" on your transcript request form. But once removed, you will not be able to add them back on. There is a 4-day turnaround time for transcripts to be sent or printed. Once again, there is a 4-day turnaround time for transcripts to be sent or printed. Here's a look at a request for transcripts. Please note that Wednesday, December 3rd is the deadline to request transcripts for applications that are due between December 15th and January 15th. The transcripts need to be ordered to go with the school report, and it's very important to select how you applied to the school. So do you still have questions or need help? It's important to watch the videos on the area of application you are working on because they will answer a lot of your questions. But also note that counselors are going to be available each Wednesday at lunch to assist you from Wednesday, September 17th through October 29th during lunch. We'll have breakout sessions, and D117 will be for Common Application, D116 for UC application, and B117 for CSU application questions. And then bring your logon information for live application review and assistance on November 5th, 12th, and 19th at 8 a.m. in A104. Thank you.